Hello and welcome to Dish Shelved with Adam White. I'm taking care of two events at once right now, Rocket Summer and Short Story Summer. 50 in 50 by Harry Harrison. And it was 50 of his favorite short stories of his own that he'd done over the last 50 years when this was done in about 2000 or so. And It was excellent. It's my new favorite book I've read so far this year. All the short stories were excellent. He started the book off strong with The Streets of Ashkelon, which I talked about last time I think it was the last time or the time before, one or the other, that I, and so he started off very strong by starting it with that story. And it was followed by just absolutely wonderful short stories. He is a master of the form. It takes a lot to do a short story, even some more than a novel sometimes, because you have to get your point across and have the whole story develop and come to a satisfying conclusion in a short amount of space. And he really does that in every one of these. Every story of his, I sat at the end and thought, man, I want more of this story. And that's the good thing of any short story, which is to leave you wanting more. And Anyway, I read it on my Kindle, so I've only got that. I don't have the book to show you. I really actually wish I had a physical copy of this book because it's one of my favorites. I really, really enjoyed it. Other than The Streets of Ashkelon, he had it broken down into categories. Um, One of the other stories that he had was called Roommates, and it was divided into four sections: summer, fall, winter, and spring. And it was just a top notch story from beginning to end. It was about a future and there's overcrowding and rationing of water, and it left you feeling what the characters were feeling. The overcrowding, the the grittiness, the lived in sense of uh, just a really kind of dirty and disgusting place that the world has become because of overpopulation. And It follows a cop who would like to help the situation, but just really is can't do anything for it. But it was a really an effective story, and a lot about overcrowding and just what that will lead to in the future for for not only this country but this world. Um, Other highlights: um, Rock Diver. It was about um, a guy that was what they call a rock diver, and what it is they had this device that um, they had this device that made it the vibrations of uh, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's it uses vibrations to make them to be able to walk through rock, and they're looking for this newer kind of metal that was discovered that is that is used in a lot of things and is really expensive. So anybody that would find a mother load of that would get really rich really quick. And it did lead to one unfortunate line, and I marked two different lines in this book. Um, but when he turned on his device one time, and again, it's this is before you really know the ins and outs of this device, but it causes the vibration that allows him to move through solid material. But he said he took the miracle of his vibratory penetrator. And I just thought that was really funny, a way to say it, because surely his device could have been called something else a little less suspect than that. But I thought that was really funny. Um, and but it was a really cool story, really different, and just gave you a real sense of claustrophobia too, with being down in this rock and never knowing if your device was going to keep working or if you'd end up part of solid rock and die that way. I mean, it was um, a really good story. He did some that were um, humorous. One of them, The Day After the End of the World. That one was pretty funny. It shows what happens when there's only two survivors after the world's been destroyed, a man and a woman, and what ends up being important to them when they find out what's going on. And it just played on, what real people would probably do in a situation like that. And it was really funny. And so was The Man from Pig, Pig. I forget what it stood for, but there was 7 chapters of it, and it was about a guy who um, used. He was kind of like an undercover government agent, and was a pig farmer too, and had pigs to help him do his investigations, and it was funny, but it was also a really neat story. Uh, let's see what else. The K Factor was interesting, uh, as were the next set of things. There was uh, a section on robots, which was really good all the way through. I mean, all these stories were, but there was one called The Velvet Glove, which showed the secondary status citizenship of robots, and it was really a parable about slavery, and even if freed from the slavery, what the people were treated like, even if they were freed from slavery. And I thought it was a really effective story, and it was probably the closest one to Streets of Ashkelon to give it a run for its money for my favorite. It was really good. I really wish that he would have went back and turned it into a fix-up novel or something, because it was a really good story. The Velvet Glove. I don't know why it's called The Velvet Glove. I meant to do a search for that on the internet, and I forgot to before I did this video, but I'll probably still do that, but I'm not sure why it's called The Velvet Glove. But if you know, and I'm just stupid or something and missed something obvious, you can let me know in the comments. But uh, there was one called Not Me, Not Amos Cabot. It was it was a funnier story too. Uh, just I'm just looking through all these. All these are good. At last, the true story of Frankenstein. That one was really interesting. It was a fun little story. Uh, More fantasy. It was in a section where he did a few fantasy stories, but most were science fiction. But it was about the descendant of Victor Frankenstein, and was like at a part of a carnival show at a county fair, and it was a fun story. Uh, there was also, let's see, where is that? Oh yeah, Portrait of the Artist. That was a really prescient story. Um, it's about a comic book artist who has to work with a machine to do the art for the comic, and he has to guide the machine, but then all the art is created by the machine. And I thought that is really, there's really a problem right now with like Dungeons and Dragons and role playing games where companies are finding it cheaper to use AI to create content so that stories and art are created by AI, and it just is terrible. It's taking all the humanity out of the work and what makes it so good. And comics would be another place where I could see this happening too, because the companies that put them out are just wanting profit. And anyway, the Portrait of an Artist is about this older artist who's being let go from his job because they get a new robot, and they have some little, virtually a kid, come in that studied the robot to run it, so they're not even going to use his work anymore. And it has a really interesting ending too. And just a really fantastic story. I really enjoyed it. It was a shorter story, but I really enjoyed it. An Honest Day's Work was really funny. It's about an alien invasion, but uh, it all kind of falls down on a maintenance worker that works through the sewers. I won't say anything more because it's a shorter story too, but it was a funny story too. He has a good sense of humor. Harry Harrison does. Um, and he went from someone, because this is the first thing I've ever read by him, and I really enjoyed it. He's one of my favorite writers now. I can't wait to get to some of his novels. I've already got them downloaded. It's just, I love physical books, but for me, my eyes are so bad. I have so much easier a time reading them on Kindle that I try to do it on Kindle. Um, but there was another story too. Where was that? Um, Captain Onario Harp Player RN. And it was a parody of Horatio Hornblower. And he uh, he was on a ship, and there is a science fiction element to it, but I won't give it away. But he's on a ship like Horatio Hornblower is, and he's working with other uh, sea seamen, and he has a main assistant named Shrub. And one of the things he says is Shrub had his weakness, namely the fact that he had an IQ of about 60, which combined with his low birth, meant he could never rise above the rank of Rear Admiral. So even though he had an IQ of 60, which is not good, uh, he could still rise to the rank of Rear Admiral, even though he was so limited in his ability to think. So it was a really funny story too. And lots of fun. I mean, they weren't all funny, but they had a sense of humor to them. And there was lots of stuff in there about equality amongst humans and amongst even robots and AI. And he was really he really had a lot of social issues in the stories. He really talked about a lot of different social issues and really made you think with the stories that he wrote. And I really appreciate that because I love it when a story makes you think about something. And anyway, fantastic book of short stories. It's called 50 in 50 by Harry Harrison. I loved it. It's absolutely fantastic. It has my highest possible recommendation. And again, it works for Rocket Summer and for Short Story Summer. So I got 2 in 1 there. So thanks for listening. I talked about it more than I thought I was going to, as usual. And anyway, I hope that you get this book and enjoy it as much as I did, because I really, really enjoyed this book. 50 in 50, Harry Harrison. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you hopefully sooner or later. And hey, I did 4 videos this month, so it's a pretty good record for me recently. So thanks again, and I hope you're all well out there.